Yo, man, it's Oblig, and you're watching the Urban Download.
Right about now, make some noise for Oblig.
Right, what's going on, people? Welcome to another installment of Urban Download. I am joined by one of my bros, DJ Oblig, aka DJ Obligated, aka the Fixer Connector, the Join of All Dots, aka one of the UK music radio hosts, pushing the culture forward for 2021, aka the Oucherologist. Big up yourself, my bro.
Oucherologist.
Come on, man.
You know what? That's jokes. I put that on my SoundCloud when I was like, 17, 18 or something.
I was gonna say, I don't know if that's still relevant still, but
no, it's not. But you know what? It's not, but it is. It's actually, isn't it? We're actually been out here for a little while. So
yeah, exactly. You have. So yeah, I feel it's still relevant to this current day. So yeah, big up yourself, man. Thank you for joining me today. It's greatly appreciated. As I spoke to any of my guests, I know that we're all busy, we all got things going on, so your time is appreciated. But first and foremost, before I start, I just want to ask you, bro, put music aside, put everything aside. How are you?
I'm all right, man. It's been a long year, but like things are looking up, man. Do you know what I mean? Like we're back in the Rinse studio. Waited a long time for that, and really and truly, that was like the one thing I needed, didn't it? That was my therapy, and I've been going to Pyro every single week.
I was gonna say, man, there's only so much of Pirate Studios you can do for a pre-record, bro.
Oh man, and you know what? Like, it's frustrating because I find myself when I'm mixing in Pyro, I'm not on the same. I'm not on the same level as I am when I'm doing it in the studio. Like I
can't explain it. I'm with you on that, man. It's just
I get a bit lazy. I think it's the thing of like knowing that nobody is listening to you right then and there. I think it's the thing of in the back of your mind knowing that if you mess up, you can do it again. Do you know what I mean? Like I live off that pressure of knowing that if you fuck up, you fuck up, and
100%. It's just the whole radio vibe gives you that energy, man. The whole live performance just gives you the energy to just shut it down. But to be honest, though, bro, I did a set with you the other day, and you absolutely killed it, bro. It's as if 100%. It was as if you were nothing fazed you, man. But obviously we've been in lockdown for quite a while, and I know that you've been doing radio and you've been killing it in terms of your radio shows, your back-to-backs of DJs and so on and so forth. But like for you, obviously, and I know you've had this question put to you before, but that we're all human. Like, how have you been able to maintain that motivation just to keep carrying on? Has it been difficult or?
I wouldn't say difficult. Because like I want this. Do you know what I mean? So it's not really a case of finding the energy to do it. Do you know what I mean? It's because what else am I gonna do? Do you know what I mean? Like I've made a decision to make this my life a long time ago, and really there's no turning back at this point. So it's a question of, do I keep going and keep going at this momentum that I've found and keep trying to raise the bar, or do I slow down and become lazy, and then we come out of this lockdown and I'm a year behind. I'm a year behind where I wanted to be. I'm a year behind other people. Like it wasn't really an option for me. And then on top of that, keeping busy was keeping me sane. You know what I'm saying? It was like, if I didn't continue, literally, what else was I gonna do? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
What's some more Netflix? Like, what other choice did I have?
Exactly. You said something just now. You said you want this, bro. What is it that you want?
It's an interesting one because I'm not really sure. Like my goals have changed a lot, like over the years, and I think just to summarize it, I want to leave this planet and be remembered, innit? I want to be part of the story of UK underground music culture, innit? Like I want in 10, 20 years however many years, when people make documentaries as they do about certain scenes and certain like ways of life and certain music, I don't want to be left out of that documentary. Do you understand? Like the way you always watch a hip hop doc, and you can't watch a hip hop doc without a Biggie or like without a Tupac. Do you know what I mean? I want to be important enough to never be forgotten. And I suppose it's like a lot of people, that's all we can, I suppose, you know, whether it's a career or like a family, do you know what I mean? It's, you don't want to leave this planet and feel like you didn't make the most of it, or you didn't want to like, you don't want to be forgotten in it. And I suppose
you want to leave your mark.
Yeah, I want to leave my mark, man. I want to have a legacy. And, you know, I suppose the DJ thing is like, it's not something that lasts forever. You know, there are very few that are lucky to do it forever. And I mean, even when you get to a certain age, even if you're at that level and you're still sick, you might not want to do it when you're at an older age. You know what I mean? It's tiring. It's long hours. There's a lot of work that goes into it.
A lot of traveling.
You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be a point where I'm going to want to chill with my fam, put my feet up and watch X Factor or whatever. Like,
but at the same time, the peas are still coming in.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? So I just want to be remembered, man. I think I want to be culturally important, and I want to kind of just connect some like just do some things that people haven't done before, and then pave the way for other people to continue to do it. Do you know what I mean?
I feel that you are already on that pathway to be, as you know, people have declared you as being the connect and the joiner of the dots, and doing stuff which is out of the norm and out of possibly your comfort zone, but something that you are willing to expose because of you want to break those barriers within the underground music scene. And also, which I feel is very important, is that you like to champion other people's work and make sure they get recognized and they break down their barriers. So you're a guy of you're a person of different traits, which is amazing to see. And we're going to talk about that bit more later on. But one thing that I don't know if anyone's asked it, they probably after radio or something, but Oblig. Let's understand that. First, if what I asked my guess is, was Oblig always your alias? If not, what was it before? Yeah. And secondly, where did Oblig come from?
No, the first name was Omen. All right.
Omen.
Omen, Omen. Yeah. And that was because like I used to graph when I was younger, innit? And I used to write Omen. So like by the time I got to a point of wanting to DJ, I suppose that name was just there, innit? So I wanted to be Omen. The initial plan was to be DJ. Well, not DJ Omen, but just Omen. I've never liked the whole thing of having the DJ first, but bro, it was just a bait name, man. It was just super bait. Like, I looked on Google, man. Omen was everywhere. And then I typed in DJ Omen, and there was a DJ Omen in like Eastern Europe playing like techno or something.
It's not that.
So I just couldn't do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's too much of a battle already before you've even begun to like be somebody. So I guess, you know, you had the O in my mind. And then Oblig was just like, I like the word obligatory. Do you know what I mean? It was as simple as that, really. Me and my friends like the word obligatory. Word got thrown around in sentences, and then it got cut down to Oblig because obligatory is just a long word, man. Who's trying to say words with 4 syllables, really and truly?
100%.
If you don't have to, do you know what I mean? If you don't have to, so we cut it to Oblig. And then I just remember Googling Oblig, and there was just nothing there, innit? And it was just like, okay, it's fresh start. Now, just by creating the name, like, it's begun. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before, it's like you create the name. Okay, now I have to battle to be the best Oblig out of the 2 Obligs. I mean, Omen, sorry. So, yeah, Oblig was just fresh. It was there, and yeah, man. You know what? Sometimes I think like if it would have been better to have had an easier name, yeah, because like people don't get it straight off the bat. Like, I've got half the music scene calling me Oblig, half the music scene calling me
Oblig.
And I mean, I don't mind, innit? Like, I don't mind either. But I mean, you know, I guess I could have thought about it a little bit more. But at the same time, you know what, man? Whatever.
It's done now. It's too late anyway, bro.
It's done. It's done. And you know what? You see the name, you don't forget it. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
It's
there you
just
go. Exactly. It's unusual, but at the same time, it's relevant, and obviously it's relevant within the scene today. So, like I said, yeah, there's no going back now, bro. I really, and I know you've discussed this on a few times, but I feel that I'd like to discuss the United States. I know that obviously you've done music there, and we'll go in a bit more, detail. But let's talk about the US. What does that mean to you, and why is that important to you?
So I was born in New York. My dad is born and raised in New York. I've got siblings over there. I've got 3 siblings, 2 sisters and a brother, all younger. So it's a thing of like it's always been in my blood. I've always gone back and forth, to see them. And then, I don't necessarily love America. Do you know what I mean? I don't necessarily rep America, but I love when I rep New York. Like New York is a different breed, isn't it? Like New York to US is the way London is in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Like it's multicultural. It's hustle, it's bustle, it's you got all walks of life, and it's a real beautiful place. Like, I mean, it's hard, just like London is, though. Do you know what I mean? Like financially, you can't ever stop. But I like that. Do you know what I mean? I like always being busy and always being on my toes. So obviously the family and shit was there, and so then I just decided to move there.
Move to the US or move to the UK?
I moved to the US. So basically I came back to London when I was like 6 months old. So I was born there, but like I'm raised here, innit? Like so like I've always felt like I was split down the middle, both. Do you know what I mean? Like I got London there, and I got New York there. Like they were the first tattoos I ever got. I made sure London was on the right hand because I'm right-handed, so I'm slightly biased.
Yeah. But did you ever feel that when you were growing up, there was difficulties with the two? Like, do you felt at times you were torn between the two, or it wasn't really deep like that?
Nah, it was never deep like that. I mean, like I said, New York and London, there's so many similarities in the two cities. You know what I mean? It's not like you go over there and there's a complete change of culture. Do you know what I mean? It's a real gritty city, and if you've grown up in a gritty city, you know what other gritty cities are like. Now, obviously, there are always going to be differences. Like, being a Grime fan never really helped. Being over there, they don't get it. They didn't get it for so long.
Yeah, I quote that, and we'll go into a bit later on. People call it robot music.
Robot music. I'll never ever forget that. I'll never forget that, bro.
Yeah, but Tuesday, to be honest, yeah, they're kind of right still, but
I mean, I get it, innit? I get it. They're not used to the harshness of the beat. You know what I mean? Like they're like as close as it gets for them is like trap music, and it's slower, innit? And it's like a slow bounce to trap, and it's wavy, innit? And they do dances to it, and it's like. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah, whereas Grime's a little bit more excessive, a little bit more over the top.
Because Grime to me is like club music. Do you know what I mean? But like rave music. You know what I'm saying? Like go to a rave and you hear that. You don't go to a rave to listen to Migos. You go to a bar or a club to listen to Migos, and you got a nice shirt on or whatever, and you're trying to chirp girls. That's what Migos is. You want to hear Grime like you're in a rave and you're sweating and people are chatting to each other and it's dark and it's too different.
Bare gun fingers, yeah, exactly. The whole different vibe. I hear you. Moving it back to the US stuff. Okay, so you moved back to the US. Again, I'm gonna just cut it short, bro. You done something which was I want to understand your mindset, because obviously, when was it when you acknowledged that you wanted to be a DJ? Like, what stage of your life? Like, what influenced you to become a DJ?
So right before I left for the US, I started to learn, right? And this was because I remember I was at a music festival. I was at a festival called Horizon, which is a ski music festival in Bulgaria. And I was waved one night, super waved, with my friends. They were called Soap Dodgers, right? And they were dubstep, and then they went into like house, but they were on Rinse at the time. And we were all waved in the smoking area, and they was like, Corey, man, you'd be so good at DJing, you know, you got the ear. And I'm like, oh, don't gas me. And we got back in it. They live near me, and they're like, listen, bro, come over whenever you want. So I used to go there, and it's funny, like I never had. What did I used to learn on? It was 800s. One of the CD drive, and I never had tunes. Yeah. So I would just go there, and then pick any of their CDs in it. And more time it would be house and stuff. So I'd just be putting in these house CDs, trying to beat match while they played Call of Duty behind me.
Mad.
And then when I decided to leave, I still didn't want to be a DJ at that point. I was just me learning. I think it was a mixture of, I arrived in New York at the same time that Skepta popped off.
Mm-hmm.
So it was around That's Not Me and Shut Down and It Ain't Safe. It was in that same year. So I just remember seeing like this initial interest in grime, innit?
This is still in America, by the way, right?
It is in New York, yeah. So I must have moved out there when I was like 23, I think. And so on top of the Skepta thing, there was no real raves for me to go to. Like I really missed it. Like I really missed hearing grime anywhere apart from my headphones. Do you know what I mean? It just wasn't doing it for me. So just decided, you know what, we're gonna throw a grime party. And there were no grime DJs, so I was like, all right, I'll just do it then myself.
And this was Low Life, right?
This was Low Life, yeah. And it, it's so joke. Sorry, Low Life came about. Yeah, when I was in New York, I used to work in American Apparel, yeah, and I was the stockroom guy, yeah. So I remember I came in the stockroom and I brought my speaker and I was like, yeah, this is the speaker. Like you lot, wait, I'm here now. This is the speaker, and I was playing grime, innit? I was playing grime in the stockroom, and there was this guy who was new, and it was so jokes. Yeah, he was quiet like all day, and then I played some grime, and he turned around and goes, "Oh, you like this grime stuff, huh?"
Swear down.
And I was like, "What? You know about this shit?" He was from California. Imagine this. So he had just moved to New York to do music, and it's my guy Andrew. Yeah, big up Andrew. He's called himself Snatch. And then we just started talking, and we're like, you know what, let's throw a party. And then we just created Low Life on the spot. He did house and techno, and I played grime. And then we filled the middle bit by like bringing in some dubstep DJs and some trap DJs. And then we just started it, man. And it was a great time.
You were championing the grime out of the two, obviously from the house and the techno. But what I really want to identify is, where were you to kind of think, you know what, I'm going to look for grime? Like, what were you doing? How did you come across it, and where were you able to go and access it and find the stuff that you appreciated?
When I was in America, or like in general?
In general.
That just goes back to high school, really, isn't it? Like Channel U was like the church for me. It was. I remember it was jokes. So I used to get home from school 3:30, 3:45, whatever. And my mum never used to get home until about 6. So
I know about that one.
I had for like 2 hours. Yeah. And I used to just go on Channel U, innit, and just like leave the channel on. I used to have that thing where you could like record. You could record like record the TV or whatever, innit?
Yeah.
So any banger that came on, I'd record it and then save it. Yeah.
Okay.
And record it and save it, and I just had stacks of just Channel U videos just saved. So
hold on. One question: do you still have them videos?
No, man. That's like imagine,
bro. There's so many lost videos, man. I wish I could find it.
They've got a little freeview box somewhere, bro. You must have dashed it. Do you know what I mean? We never even had that. It was like a freeview thing. But yeah, man, it's just Channel U, I guess. And then it's just, people like Screw Fizzer. Screw Fizzer was very local to me, innit?
Of course, West London sides, big up Screw every time.
Yeah, man. So Screw lives in West Ealing, and I'm in Hanwell. So He's literally like 5 minutes from my yard, and his school. I think he's like maybe 2 years above me, 1 year, and his school was like the neighboring school to mine.
Okay.
So it's one of them ones where his tunes got passed around.
Right.
Do you know
So
what I mean?
he was relevant. Everyone knew him in the end.
Yeah, man. He was like the top boy when I was younger, man. He was the guy. Like to me, West was like growing up. West was just a bit peaked. You know what I mean? Like we were easily at the bottom of the food chain. And you know, considering who was in each side, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. But it did get a bit embarrassing at times. You know, when you're at a rave maybe, and it'd always be like, yo, if you're from East, make some noise. If from South, everyone goes mad, yeah. And if West make some noise, there's always like a couple of dons in it. And then I'll make some noise and I'll see one over there, and it's like, yeah, my guy.
Yeah, big up.
We were always at the bottom, innit?
That's true still. Why is that?
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, it's a bit mad still.
I've never understood it.
Well, West produced a lot of sick grime artists, sick grime DJs, and producing so and so forth. But I'm wondering why.
Like, looking back on it now, over like the 20 years, we've produced some amazing people, but it's like they've never come out at the same time. There's never been that bulk movement of just West taking over, innit? It's just
dribs and drabs.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you had SOK, but then that's like that thing of West clinging on to Northwest because we had nothing else, and like please be West.
Yeah, beg you, let me come on.
I beg you, be West.
100%. I want to go again. I know we've digressed, but the America stuff again. I'm going to fast forward.
Yeah.
How did the AJ Tracey kind of Spyro thing come about? Because from someone who's DJing in a basement venue in Manhattan, and then all of a sudden, you know, obviously you had like a monthly residency there, and big up the Irish guy as well, big up Andrew as well, you mentioned as well. But how did that from that situation come about to where you're now booking AJ Tracey and Spyro? Like, that's mad. It's a mad transition.
Yeah, man. So we did Low Life for a solid year, monthly parties, and then like maybe a few random ones in between. And then over the course of the year, we were just making noise, innit? And it was a thing of, because at the same time as well, I was doing weekly radio on a station called Rewind FM, which was just online. And I used to do it for a while. I was just doing it from my kitchen on this little controller.
Mad.
And then, like, you know, it's jokes. Like, I remember one time, Benteke was in New York one time, and he shouted me. And I was like, yeah, come for a guest mix. Yeah. And he just walked into my house, and I'm like, yeah, there's the kitchen, there's the controller, innit? You go. But by the time, I didn't even realize that was peak. I'd never been in a radio station. I didn't know what people expected. And now coming back to London, seeing Benteke represent, he must have thought, what am I doing here, bro?
There's Oblig cooking his little like breakfast and that.
But yeah, now we were making noise. I was doing my radio show, and people started to see that, oh, there's this guy in New York playing our music. So over the course of the year, it was like anyone who came to New York, like on holiday, would just shout me, and then I would get them radio, and then I would sort out getting them on Low Life, innit? So it was interesting. Like Treble Clef came out, you know, we had Last Japan, we had Little D was there, Snowy Danger came, we had Cadenza, Reese West, Ghostly came, I had Elf Kid with Blakey was there. And like it was just this nice organic thing, innit? And then when we got to the year, I just knew we had to do something big because it was getting big. Do you know what I mean? So funnily enough, I just saved up, me and my guy Andrew, we just saved up P's from American Apparel. Like that was just it. Like we both worked in a stockroom. I think at that point I was a stockroom manager. So I didn't have much P, but we had enough between us to save up to get them both, innit? And you got to think at the time, AJ Tracey he hadn't even dropped the EP with Buster Cannon yet. He hadn't done that yet. he actually came to New York and recorded tracks for that EP.
Right.
So it was a thing of, I remember speaking with his manager, and we just struck this awesome deal where it was like, you know, you can get him for this much, but keep him in your house for like a while.
Wow.
So basically the deal that we had was AJ stayed in my bedroom for 2 weeks. And I just like slept on the sofa, innit? And
Boy, that's a big commitment there.
bro, it was a no-brainer for me. Do you know what I mean? It was like I got to chill with him for 2 weeks. I sorted out a little tour for him. So we did New York, we did Baltimore, and then we went to Cleveland. Was it Cleveland?
Boy.
We went to Cleveland, yeah. So we did this thing, and obviously I couldn't afford to fly out courts at the time. So I just flew out AJ, and I was like, right, I'll DJ all the shows. So we went on tour. And then I got to tag along with him to all his like his interviews and shit like that. And I met a lot of cool people through his meetings, just kind of chauffeuring him around, really.
Connection.
Yeah, man. And with Spyro, that was a no-brainer, innit? He was the king, innit? He still is. And it was just like we really wanted to go big and show New York what grime was about. And I mean, we sold out that venue. It was like
really
something. And I mean, for New York at the time, I was
for
big.
grime as well, just in general, man. That's massive.
Yeah. And I remember I had a grime MC from New York on my set. It was just good time, man. It was just good time, and we got to show some people some things. And like I said, they still talk about what we did over the course of that year now, and it was ages ago now. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, man. It's still relevant to your journey as well, to this current day, man, because you show how, even though you're not significantly tied with the US, you can see how much of an influence it had on your current musical journey, as well as your personal life as well. But you feel that it was a massive part of who you are today, and
man,
that resonates with the type of music that you play, the styles as well. And again, we'll talk about that a bit later on. But fast forwarding, you're in the UK now. What I'd like to establish is which came first, the intern at Rinse FM or Pyro Radio? Because I feel that Pyro Radio hasn't been spoken about as much. But...
yeah, Pyro was first. Pyro was first, right? And I got a big up Treble Clef for that. He kind of patterned me with that. It was, how did it come about? I think Treble had invited me down for a back-to-back, and it was me back-to-back. And bear in mind, this was because obviously Treble met me in New York, innit? And I let Treble stay at my house. Back then, we did a show, we did bare things. So then when it came to being here, Treble wanted to help me out, and he did a back-to-back with me with Uncle Dreamer on mic.
You got Dreamer.
And then if I remember correctly, directly after that show was Sluden Mafia show.
Wait.
So I think Treble and Dreamer had left, obviously, like the show was done. And I was just fresh to London. I was like, bro, it's Raging Clipson, man. What? I'm sticking around. Top dollar. And then I was just sitting in the room. And then the last 30 minutes, Top Dollar was just like, do you want to mix for the last half an hour?
Big.
I didn't even know me like that. So obviously I took that chance. Fire set. I bodied it, bro. I still watch that set today.
Is it on YouTube? I didn't even know it was there.
Yeah, it's on there. But my name's not on it. It's just like the Sludem show.
That's why. Okay,
I was just there last half an hour.
You might have to clip that still.
For real. And then afterwards, because I just bodied 2 sets, and I spoke to the guy, and I was just like, listen, man, big up Antonio. I said
big up Antonio himself. 50th anniversary today, even though this will be aired later on, but yeah, still. Antonio,
absolute legend, man. He welcomed me in there, and he really like looked after me, man. He's a good guy, man, and Pyro's a good station.
He is.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of DJs are like, they forget how important it is to really like build a foundation like of yourself on a smaller station. I know everyone wants to be on the big station, innit? But those 2 years that I had at Pyro like taught me everything that I needed to know. Do you know what I mean? About learning how to talk on a mic, learning how to work with different MCs.
I'm a real man chat and I'm sick of the backstabbing. If it's in be backpacking, I'm bringing the black Mac. What I got the Mac banging, hear the Mac. Zigzagging the Mac and a Mac pattern. Waity.
Like clocking how to be on a camera, because that wasn't something that I had done before. And, you know, having visual content in this day and age is so important. And for them lot to just offer it to you for every show.
For free.
Amazing. For free, for nothing. Like, you know, you've been on Pyro, you know how hard they work. It's just small team.
But
so
quality is everything for them. So that's what makes it count.
So, you know, I got a lot of love for them, man. But that was first. And then I believe Rinse followed shortly after.
Okay, I want to talk about the Pyro thing because I still feel that's relevant to where you are today. And you mentioned how visual content is important, but you obviously were there for 2 and a bit years. What was your mindset? You had your first show, you were there. What were you trying to achieve once you got on Pyro? I know you said that you were trying to do something, you know, build a platform, but was it more than that?
It was just, I mean, you know, when I was in New York, it was just, you know, oh, that's that guy from New York playing our music. So really being on Pyro was, I wanted everyone here to know who I was. So it was a thing of, I wanted to meet as many people as I could, you know, like I'm a big fan of just having guests every show. I've guests every single show, and it's different guests. Do you know what I mean? Like, as much as I like certain people, like as much as I have like my favorites, it's like I made an effort of every week having somebody that I had never had before. Like, it's funny, I've got a spreadsheet on my laptop, of every MC that I've ever had on set. So that I never forgot them, and I think I just hit 200 MCs like the other day.
Wow.
I want to
hold on. You're still maintaining that spreadsheet?
Yeah, today. Yeah, because I want to know how many MCs I've worked with over the time. I want to know like what my reach was by the time I finished. Do you know what I mean? I want to look back and be like, oh shit, that. I like to visually see things like that. I've got a list of every DJ I've gone back to back with as well. Like, it's just,
that's a mad statistic, man. Not a lot of people. I don't think anyone. If there are, there's probably a small number of people that are recording those kind of figures, man.
Yeah, man. But it was just important to me, innit, to just get out there and meet people. And
I really want to discuss your internship at Rinse FM because again, that is important and very and resonates with you, especially today because that's where you are. But how did the internship at Rinse FM come about?
So I've got a friend who works at Rinse. Right, goes by the name Ennis. I have known him for a long time. I have known him since I was 18, right? And it's interesting where I had a girl when I was 18, and her older brother was best mates with Ennis.
Okay.
So like from when I was 18, like he's kind of had his arm around me, like looking after me. Do you know what I mean? And so obviously I come back to London, and I didn't have a job in it. Like I came back solely to just do some radio and meet people. And so I wasn't making any money. I mean, all I was doing, what was I doing for money when I first got there?
You went refereeing games where you for a pinky, right?
I was, but not when I first got there.
Okay,
you know?
Right. That's after that. Okay.
I think I was just living off maybe some money I had saved. I might have tried to go on job seekers. I was kind of fucked up at first, but then you know, the internship didn't pay me for a long time. But it was more a thing of, right, I'm here, I want to meet people, I want to network, and I want to see how this works. And the plan was to take it back to New York, do you know what I mean? Just soak up this information and go back.
Wow. So that essentially Rinse wasn't in initial stages wasn't the forever thing. It was I'll take what I can from here in terms of relevant experience and responsibilities that I've acquired,
Yeah.
and then go back to the US and apply it there.
The plan was always to go back and to just be the grime king of New York, the grime king of America. I mean, it was just that was the plan. And then to be honest with you, I just got stuck here because like everything was going so well, bro. Like the show was going well, the internship. You know, I went from the guy putting up the shows on SoundCloud to then the guy who was learning how to produce to then the guy who was producing shows and getting paid for it. And it was like, hang on a sec, like I'd be dumb to leave this at this point.
I mean, one thing you mentioned as well is that the connecting of people, and that's something you do very, very, very well, and something I feel that you thrive on is building connections. And if you're being that intern at Rinse FM, you're seeing all these grime artists flying through the studio day after day. It only makes sense to build that relationship, build that rapport with them, because it seemed to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that in your mind, I was thinking, well, if I build a relationship with him, then sooner or later, you know, if I want to be a DJ, then they'll come on my show. Was that the correct mindset? Is that what you?
I mean, that's how life works. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you don't go into it with the intention of, oh, all right, let me bread him, and then maybe, you know, one day this. But it's like, no, you just if you're around and your face is there and people know your name, and then one day it's not like, oh, I've got a Twitter DM saying who's on my show, who's this guy? Like, oh, I've seen him before. We've met. Do you know what I mean? That's just all it is. And I remember when I started, it, you know, it was at the Rinse in Brick Lane, and bro, I was working on the grime show with Spyro. Do you know what I mean? I was working on Boxed. I was there with so many sick people. So I got to see all of this firsthand, and then the studio moved, and then all of a sudden, at that point, I was a producer, and I was working on the New Look Grime show.
Okay.
And I was helping produce it, but I was also working with the DJs to curate all their lineups. So, you know, AT, Grime Mixer, Logan, and Spooky. And then I was working on Grime Original show, and I was working with Slimzy. And it was like, what more do I want? I've got all the best grime shows here, and I'm helping them do their show, innit? I'm just getting to sit here and watch it and meet everyone coming in, and it was great. It was a great time. And from there, it just makes you hungry, man.
Of course. So once, obviously, you had accomplished kind of the producer role at Rinse FM, when was it when you thought, I need to step up a gear? I've got all these people around me. I'm acknowledged within the scene for, you know, for being the person who's presenting the Rinse FM kind of, you know, material, but I want to be behind the decks.
You know what? There was this interesting moment where at that time I was working in retail still. I was a stockroom guy.
Ted Baker, was it?
Ted Baker, yeah, Ted Baker. And I'll never forget it. I got a call while I was in the stockroom, and it was Clipson, yeah. And he goes, yo, what you doing? So I'm at work. He says, can you get to Rinse in an hour? And it was like, so it was a Jay Kuss show. This is back in Jay Kuss on Rinse. And he had, he asked Slew De Mafia to step in to do his show because he was in America at the time. And I think Top Dollar didn't turn up, or Top Dollar wasn't around, and they had no DJ. And he called me, and I was like, I'll be there. And I remember I was the only person in the stockroom. I had no one to cover me.
No way.
So I called the girl that worked in the stockroom with me. She was at home. I said, listen, if you come in right now and cover the rest of my shift, I'll give you a bill. I'll give you a bill on it. So she got there, came in, and I ran out. And I got there in time.
Hold on, one question. Did you have your USBs on you though?
Yeah. Always have my USB on me, just in case, bro. Something like that happens. And I got there, and we smashed it. It was 6 show. And then I was so proud, didn't it? It was my first time ever like mixing on Rinse, doing like a grime set like that. And And then you know what happened? The podcast never went up.
Oh,
I remember asking like, what's going on here? And at the time there was this kind of policy of, oh, if you work here, then you shouldn't be DJing on Rinse if you work here, innit? And it never went up, and that it burnt me for so long. And then I just started like wanting to be on Rinse more, innit? And like after that day, it was like, I need that again, innit? Because after that, I was just sitting there watching everyone do it, but I had already done it, and I knew that I could do it now because I had already done it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a thing of, I think the actual moment was probably when the Grime show stopped, and then there was just this kind of gap. Do you know what I mean? Like the Grime show stopped. All of a sudden, those 4 DJs were not on Rinse, and I was like, this kind of seems like somebody could take this spot, right? And I can't remember how it ended up being me. I didn't even take that spot, did I? It was just like,
it was just there, available for anyone.
Just there. It was just, you know what it was? It was like there was less grime. There was so much less grime after the Grime show stopped, and there was all this like people were missing it. People were missing the sets, blah blah blah. And then I just got offered. I got offered the show. I didn't even ask for it or nothing. I got offered it off the back of mashing so much work. Like, we done Pyro every week for 2 years, you know, but then on top of that, it's like I was everywhere. I was on Mode, I was on Rep. But I was just everywhere, man. I was so busy, and because I was mashing works, and I just gave it to me. They gave me the monthly at first.
And that was a 7 to 9, right?
That was 7 to 9 on a Friday, yeah.
So what I want to understand is, because that was just a monthly show, what I wanted to understand is the kind of mindset. Obviously, you're now on Rinse. This is a very prestigious platform for underground stroke grime music. You were you were an intern, then you became producer, and now you've accomplished one of your goals, which is being behind the decks, playing the music that you love. What I want to understand is, what was your mindset? You're now on Rinse, monthly show, but it seems to me that you are that person where you want to curate proper lineups, proper shows, proper content. Like, what was your mindset?
So it was a monthly show at first. So I was still at Pyro for a bit. And the idea with the Rinse show was always to be the Grime and the Drill guy. And it was to switch it up as much as I could. Do you know what I mean? I remember, so the first show I ever did, I had S1.
Don't talk on my name, get spun. No.
Drill artist. We did a drill set, followed by Sav 12. And then a week after that, like, I had Mika and Tifa come in and Shaki Dread come in. Right. So on the same show, it was all about trying to cross-pollinate. That's the word I grabbed from that little complex thing. That was a great way to describe it. But cross-pollinate, man. I want
cross-pollinate Grime and Drill, right?
Yeah. So even not just in the way of me playing it, but having MCs be in the same room. Like, I don't know if you remember, but I did a show once, and I had Faults and Quengface go back to back on a drill set.
Both bouncy, both skippy flows,
like
different genres.
Do you know what that show was? And like, I kick myself to this day that I never got it filmed. But like, that wasn't when I had a show. That was just a random slot came up. Oh, I guess I should mention that. Like, I was doing loads of guest mixes before I got a show. You know, like Sharky was giving me guest mixes, Slimzy gave me guest mixes. So I was about, but the Grime and the Drill thing was, that's just what I love, innit? I listen to so much of both.
Where did the drill kind of influence? Obviously, drill deriving from the States, but was the influence from the States, New York, or was it when you came over to here you realized there's another genre popping, which is a similar BPM?
So I was onto UK drill from when I was in America, innit?
Okay.
So like I was I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of like, I've had these relationships with these drill producers for a while. Because like when I was in New York, that's when they were sending me beats.
Was it Mazza? I can't remember the producer now. Who?
Mazza was the first one who really like embraced me and was sending me instrumentals. But you know how early that was. So people like Ghosty and stuff, they're young and they're just sending beats, and so I had all these drill beats, and that was something I've been doing. You know what's so funny? I remember there was a conversation that I had when I was in New York, and I was at a party, yeah, and I was on a rooftop of this party with my mate, and I remember saying to him, "Hey, listen, I want to start playing this drill stuff. Have you heard it?"
Wow.
Brought out my laptop and I was like playing him drill, and he was like, "I'm gonna start doing this. Like this is hard." And this must have been like, so what's it? What year are we in now? It must have been like 2005.
Wow.
No, 2015. Sorry,
I was gonna say.
It wasn't even a thing in 5. It must have been like 2015, maybe 16, maybe. But like, it was a thing from so long. I just loved it. I loved it, man.
What is it that you loved about drill?
I love how I just love how wavy it is, man. Like it's so, like I like the bouncier kind of drill, right? You know, rather than like, oh, that's not even true. I love bouncy drill, but I love the
darkness, the kind of the grittiness, the greasiness,
like the orchestral drill, the one that's like, it gets me emotional. Do you know what I mean? Like,
emotional, yeah, 100%.
Like, you know what's mad? Like I'll actually listen to drill beats like in my bed, like before bed, bro.
I feel what you're saying.
That sounds.
No, not at all. You're trying to get. Sometimes you can just relate to listen to an emotional instrumental, but it can resonate with you on a personal touch.
But I can listen to it just over and over again, and I don't know, man. I just found so many connections in the two with grime and drill, and I feel like even when I mix it, right, like I'll play a grime tune and I can hear exactly what drill beat needs to go with it, right? And I think it's interesting the way my mind works when I do it, yeah. Because it's like I'll play a grime tune, and then you can't go from, let's say, a bouncy grime tune into like this mad orchestral drill sometimes. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of got to be like a transition.
A little fusion, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, you might go from a bouncy grime to like a bouncy drill into the matting drill, then into like Kid D, and then back into some bouncy. That there are certain like bridges,
transitions. Yeah, 100%.
That's how I love to do my sets, bro.
So, but why you were that person, and obviously Complex mentioned this on a few occasions that you are, even though there are drill DJs not as prevalent as grime, but you were that person who not even acknowledged it, but just brought it to people's attention that you could mix the two, and you were champion that. Not champion just with the instrumentals, but with the artists as well. Like, how did that make you feel that you were the go-to person? I mean, like on Twitter the other day, there was a post like, "I need drill DJs." You were the most tagged person because even though your heart's in grime, you were tagged as the go-to drill DJ. Like, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it makes me feel amazing, bro. Because I mean, you know what it's like. This kind of scene is so busy. Do you know what I mean? There are so many people trying to be grime DJs, right? So that it's like for you to be the one maybe getting booked, or for you to be the one doing sets with the big guys, you've got to put in so much work to be above other people. And the thing is, there are so many good, sick grime DJs who don't have the recognition, but it's solely because like you can't recognize everyone. You can't champion everyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are so many sick DJs that we all know then there are so many sick DJs that are less known. For them to get into that bit is so difficult, because it's almost like, how much grime do you want to listen to? Do you know what I mean? If you're a grime fan, you're going to have your favorites, and that takes up a lot of time just to listen to them. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll listen to Grand Mixer. Do you know what I mean? I listen to court shows. I listen to your show. I listen to Charisma. Like I said, you know, at the start, the only thing I really want to do is like be remembered for something, have a legacy that I can leave behind. And I'm so blessed to have found something that I love so early that I am recognized as somebody who pioneered that sound, that like I couldn't really ask for more. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I get people asking me like grime DJs who are after more recognition, like, what do I do? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do I get seen more? How do I do this? And really, it's like you have to try and find a niche. And I know it's so hard, isn't it? Yeah, when you're playing grime, to find a niche, because
for some it's just one way or the other. There's no variation from it.
This is the, unless you produce, how are you meant to find a niche? Yeah, it's very difficult, but it's not impossible, isn't it? And it's like everyone has a style. Do you know what I mean? Like TXM produces now, right? But he didn't for the majority of the time that I knew him. But I knew a TXM show. Do you know what I mean? He has a style of mixing, and I know the type of tunes that TXM enjoys. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same with Kirby T. Like, I know when I'm listening to a Kirby T set, because
the tune selection and the way he's
like Kirby T likes kind of like a storytelling instrumentals. Do you know what I mean? Like I get it. I hear the way he chops. Like I know a Kirby T chop. Like, and there are subtle things like that are really gonna get you recognized. But you almost don't know you're doing it until you're just doing it.
You also mentioned, you've mentioned how other DJs are, you know, trying to get recognized, and it's a very diluted scene, especially for DJs. When you mentioned how, you know, you need a little bit of variation, you need a bit of a niche, but for you, you said that you're blessed, and because you've got a great platform to showcase your talent, showcase other artists' music who haven't been able to get the opportunity to get airplay. But that's one thing I want to talk about as well, is your tune selection, your music selection. And being on a set with you the other day, I listened to your tune selection. It was incredible, because it wasn't the norm. It wasn't the usual typical dub plates. It was, I was just like, whoa, man! This guy's really thought about his track listing, not just scrolled through a USB of, I'm gonna use that rhythm. You've really, really prepared your kind of set. What I'd like to understand is, talk us through your mindset of when you're preparing for a set, and how you identify and find these kind of artists and music, and what makes it I'm gonna play that.
This is the thing. I think like the best grime DJs are gonna be the ones who are fans of grime, right? You have to be. Like, if I'm on a set with 4 completely different MCs, the minute they walk in the room, I know what they want. You understand? 100%. I think you're good at that as well, bro. It's like, you know, let's say Duppy's in the room, he's got energy, right? Skippy. Like, he flourishes on the type of beats that he makes. You know what I'm saying? He flourishes on that, right? And I think that's one of the things that like is one of my strengths in it. Like, I can read the room, I can read each MC, and you can read the scenario of like, okay, this guy's getting towards the end of his 16. He's just tapped somebody. All right, so this guy's about to jump on. Let me mix into that one that he's gonna love.
Don't get carried away to the man. I lie, man.
I know they wish that I stayed in the mood, because if anything's them, if I remain in the talk, levels ain't dipped and the levels ain't soared. So here we are, just the same as before. I don't give a shit.
And then all of a sudden, like, you've just got a sick reload, and it's like, it's like maths. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's an equation, and you're seeing all the numbers, and you're figuring it all out on the spot. And it's not easy. There's a lot of things to take in, and then you've got to mix sick at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
But once you get the hang of it, MCs will love to do sets with you because they know that. They know that you're not gonna throw them under the bus.
Percy's is something that you have championed, you have incorporated, you started, and you obviously did one with Frisco not too long ago. What was the mindset behind Percy's?
Funnily enough, like I was just on the way to Frisco studio, and Frisco is my favorite grime MC of all time.
What are you saying? I'm really your favorite MC, or are you just saying that because
No.
I know you've said that to me before still, but
you can look back in the archives. Yeah, I've never said that to anyone, innit?
And it was a thing of, we're gonna go do a set, but because he's my favorite, I wanted to talk to him. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to get the most out of that show. I wanted to get every second of his time that I could. And then I was on the way there, and I was trying to think, like, what can we do? Like, what can I do? And like,
hold on. Sorry, I have to interrupt. You did all of this on the day while you're thinking about this concept the way there. That's amazing. Sorry,
it wasn't even called Percy's. It was just like, how are we going to conduct this interview? What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about my favorite Frisco tunes because I'm a Frisco fan, right? So I just wanted to know this stuff. So then that was just an Oblig interview. And then it was like, oh, you know what? This is kind of cool, actually. Like, we could probably make this a thing. And then we just called it Percy's because it's like personal favorite tunes. And it seems to have a good it's got a good vibe to it. Do you know what I mean? We did the second one with Jammer. Well, funnily enough, so the Frisco one was actually first, but we took so long to put it out that it came out second. But we did Jammer, we did Frisco. And I think one of the things as well that I've clocked is, you know, not every MC or rapper is going to want to do a set, right? Not every rapper is going to want to come and spit bars full stop, right? And I think I'm at this point now where I can reach some top boys and I can't just say, hey, jump on a set with me for half an hour. Like I've got to think about other ideas to get them on the show or to make the show worth it.
One thing I did see, and I don't know if it has even happened, bro, is the back-to-back with Scream.
It hasn't happened yet. You know what? Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, I've manifested this differently, and to be fair, it hasn't happened yet, so I won't jinx it. Yeah, touch wood. But I remember, like, maybe like 6 months ago, I was just telling everyone around me, like, bro, 2021, I want to do a back-to-back Scream, like Scream, one of my favorite DJs ever, right? GOAT status. And I'm like, when I was growing up, I was a proper dubstep raver, innit? Mm-hmm. I used to love it, man, like so much. That old dubstep is so different, man. It's so creative, it's so great. So I've been a fan of Scream for a long time, and you know, I think over lockdown, I rekindled my love for dubstep. So, you know, it's like I did the show with Plastician, and then, you know, I did a show with Silky, I did a show with Lofa, just did the show with Crazy D. So I'm at a stage in my career where I can reach out to these guys that I kind of grew up on. And I was just saying, like, could I do a show with Scream? I don't know. It seemed too hard. And then I remember I text Plastician, I said, what do you reckon? Do you reckon I could? And he was like, I don't see why not. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, he's just a man after all. But like, because I'm such a fan, you almost think that why would he do that with me? Do you know what I mean? And then basically, I was playing his music a lot, and you know, every week when I play music, I have to add whose music I'm doing it. So I was just, you know, I was tagging him every week with no intention or anything, just like I was playing his music because he'd been releasing a bunch of like unreleased music in it. He released like an unreleased tape, volume 3. So I grabbed some tunes off that and I've been playing them. And then one day he just DM'd me and he was like, yo, I see you're like supporting my team, innit? Like I want to send you some music. I was like, oh shit, yeah, please do. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you know, it's Twitter things long, what's your number? And now me and Scream are just talking, innit? So
mad. So
I mean, you know, I said, I put it out there. I was like, listen, thanks for the music, blah blah. If you ever want to come on the show, He was like, yeah, I would love to. And then the Esky dance thing happened. It's like, oh, would you want to just go back to back?
Yeah, like, do you know what it is? Because I was there. I was at Esky dance at the time. And then Kanan was like, what am I reading here? What am I reading? Jedah, look at this. I'm like, what is it? He goes, what? Going back to my Oblig at Esky dance. And I was like, yeah, bro. Something I don't know if this is true or not, bro, but Oblig Productions, what am I hearing? A few Oblig beats? Is this true? Because I've seen it fly around a few on Twitter here and now, thinking, what's this?
Nah, it's not true. It's not true. So the only truth to that is I made some beats when I was in New York, right? And they're just sitting on my laptop. They're not great. They're not mixed. They're not mastered. They're all right. If you want them, you can have them in it type shit. But recently I made like an edit. So, I mean, I can't really like claim nothing from that. I just, you know, I slapped an Ariana Grande a cappella on top of a Riddler R&D drill production. So it's wavy. You know, was it too hard to make? Not really. Do you know what I mean? You just kind of line it up a little bit. Yeah. So I wouldn't, nah.
Okay, I
want to, don't get me wrong.
One question. All right, hold on. What has stopped you?
It's long, man.
You're like me. I mean, I'll start it, I'll open the thing, I'll for a little bit, like maybe half an hour, and I'm like, bro, I can't do this, man.
Well, I get really overwhelmed by DAWs, man. Like I can make a little beat, yeah. But then once you get past that,
that's it. I'm like, you know what? Allow it.
When I watch people make beats, yeah, and then they start opening up all like the VSTs and shit, I'm like, what am I looking at here?
Yeah,
nuts. Like, how do you understand this? And they'll open it up, and it will have all this, and they'll be like, oh yeah, just tweak that bit a little bit. I'm like, are you lot professors? Like, what are you lot talking about here?
You've got the same mentality as me, but that's what makes it long for me. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not on that, man. I just want to make the thing and just, yeah, that's it, as simple as that. But
you know what, as well, yeah, I'm a weird guy where like, if I'm shit at something, I get angry, like, and I just don't want to do it. Do you know what I mean?
The frustration, boy, yeah, 100%.
I get so frustrated with making beats. Like, if realistically, I've got the ear for it, and I could definitely do it if I gave it the time, but I would need a lot of time, and I would need somebody else's time.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Just to sit down with you and just talk you through it, and just yeah, man. I couldn't give you more. Before we end it off here, I wanna ask, how do you prepare for a set? You've got a set on, you know, imagine, you know, a random Pirate studio, so not even your Rinse FM set, just a random Grime set. You're at home, you're at yards. How do you prepare?
So I don't prepare too much. Like, I have a folder of tunes that I would play on Rinse, right? And it's like, it's a lot. It's like 500 certain tunes in it. And it's something that I know any one of them, I'd be happy to play, right? So that's like the big umbrella folder. And then I've got a folder of Skippy Grime, right? So when I'm in that mood. And then I've got a folder of drill. And then I've got a folder of like R&D drill, like soft. Do you know what I mean? So it's all a case of like I like to take my shows on a little journey, innit? Where more time I will start it off with drill, like get the soft drill out the way. Then maybe play some drill and then some drill instrumentals and then some grimy trappy shit. And then second hour, let's just go at it. And it's skippy and I've put the BPM up a little bit and it's just, I'm sweating. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like to do it like that. So I like to split them up in folders. But apart from that, there's nothing else to it. Like I said,
it's all about when you're in front of the decks. That's when you start really preparing mentally.
Like for me, the hardest part of preparing is just knowing what I'm starting with.
Yeah.
The first track, because the first track dictates what the rest of the 2 hours is, right? Because I don't know what I'm going to do in that 2 hours. I have no idea. But the first track indicates the journey, right?
It sets pace.
It sets pace. So once I'm past that first one, I don't know what I'm doing, really and truly. Like I'll hear what I'm playing and I'll give myself 30 seconds to figure out what is going to sound good with that.
Nice. Wise words. Just
you got to stay on your toes, bro.
100%. Lastly, music label.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's coming, man. That's coming, man. That's coming.
Are you able to share a little bit of information about that?
I mean, I'm working on the first project now. So I'm working on the first project now. The second project is like agreed with the artist. But I'm waiting for this first one to be finished so that I can launch and then really get into the swing of things. But I think I'm gonna be doing little like 4-track EPs to start with. I think the idea is 2 vocals, 2 instrumentals, vinyls, all of that good stuff, man. And
look forward to it, man. That sounds promising still.
It's very exciting, man. I've got 1 track done, 1 instrumental done, and I'm just waiting for the talent to finish the rest of their bit. But
I like how you said the talent, just naming no names, just keeping it strictly.
No names, bro. I don't even want to give away the name of the label.
Of course. I don't blame you, bro. Maybe it's got Oblig in it, we don't know, but we'll wait and see,
maybe.
Bro, before we end it off there, just want to say thank you for your time and efforts. I mean, as a fellow grime DJ, as a fellow DJ, to watch your progression today is inspiring. It's impressive. Like I said, I've been with you personally and listened. I've been with you many times when you've mixed, and it's an amazing thing to hear, man. And like I said recently, and I was just blown away by your music selection, your mixing, and it goes to show why you are in the position that you are in today. So it's a great testament to you. Before we go, I just want to ask, I know everyone asks, what's next for you? And I hate that question because it's just like, you're asking a DJ what's next. Do you know what I'm saying? If it was an MC, then yeah. But do you have any, aside the label aside, is there anything you've thought about, like, I'd like to take it to the next level for the next forthcoming year or whenever?
I mean, it's always about taking it to the next level, isn't it? Like, but so we got the label, and then, you know, like I think I mentioned to you before, like I understand that, you know, I'm seen as one of the people who like pioneered or started the playing drill shit. But it doesn't mean I'm the only person doing it anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's become common. Do you know what I mean? And that's fair. I love that. Do you know what I mean? And it's the natural kind of progression of music, innit? If you're into grime, why wouldn't you be into drill? Like it's similar stuff. Like you're gonna play it. So I guess for me that just means I need to level up my game to make sure that I stay above everyone else in terms of that. And I can't give away how I'm doing that. You get me? But you'll probably see a few things that's coming.
But you need to be. Hopefully, you acknowledge this, that you are the DJ that started off other DJs playing drill on their sets. Let's be real now. I mean, yeah, there were a few probably dropped it here and there, but now it's more prevalent than ever. And I feel that you are the person that started that off.
I will pay homage to Mr. FaZe Miyake.
Yeah, because he was the influence of your music today.
Yeah,
right?
he was a big influence, man. Like he to me, he was more like grime and trap, innit? But like I feel like that the natural progression of that is drill, innit? So he kind of gave me the idea that like grime didn't have to sound one way, innit? So I'll always pay homage to him for that. But yeah, I guess I'm probably the first one to do the drill thing and
set pace. You have. Let's be real.
Yeah. And I mean, okay, so coming up, I'm just trying to, you know what I'm trying to do, bro? I'm just trying to find myself an agency, because you know what, bro? It's all getting long. Being alone, doing everything by yourself, it's just getting long, man. I just want a bit of help. I think at this point, I want to, you know, I've got a kind of manager at the moment, and there's a few projects I want to work on. Honestly, I'm trying to do the gaming thing a bit more seriously. Like I think you know, I've been playing Warzone like a joker, bro, like so much, and I'm actually all right at it. Do you know what I mean? So I think we're gonna find ways to kind of incorporate the gaming and the DJing somehow. I've had a few ideas, a few projects I want to work on with that.
Well, I heard a little silencer stroke scream blend one of your videos. I think, you know, that's kind of a sick idea. I don't know if I've caught onto something there, but
yeah, of course. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you know, usually I would post a 1 minute clip of a blend on my story, right? And it will go over 4 pages.
Yeah, 4 pages. Yeah, long.
And the likelihood of somebody listening to that minute is low. If I give them something to watch at the same time, don't piss me off, man.
Visuals is everything.
My blend over the Warzone. Genius.
There you go. You kill 2 birds in 1 stone, brother.
Exactly, man. Show everyone the tech on the decks and show everyone the tech in the down.
Exactly. Come on, man. Come on, bro.
Yeah, man. And I think it's just like, you know what I want to do as well. I wanna play in I want to play outside of the grime realm. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I find like with grime DJs, we get put in this grime box, and it's like you can only play grime raves, and it's like, why? Like, why is grime not considered dance music the way everything else is? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why can't I be on a lineup with somebody playing jungle and somebody playing dubstep? Do you know what I mean?
Drum and bass, yeah, 100%. You know, you've done it with Brasil. Perfect example. Big up the Brasil grime show. Big up Ann Constantino and all their man there. You've also done it in the US with some, you know, DJ books as well, and the big up all the MCs as well. You've done that, and yeah, and you know, I feel that you're onto something there, brother. So I completely agree with you. One thing that really annoys me is that you always when I'm trying to find a track and I was trying to look for the genre grime and it's never there, and I'm like, why is it not there? It doesn't make sense, and it pisses me off because it's been going on.
Yeah, grime just has this weird thing of like just not being respected for some reason. Like, even I was talking about this the other day. Of you see this whole thing that Fabric did recently. All these cool streams they've been doing, like Lucy on the Tower Bridge and Sherelle in the Coliseum and Scream in the Royal Albert Hall. Yeah, and it's called London Unlocked. And it's representing London sounds, and there's not one grime presenter. And like it just baffles me that like the grime isn't getting respected as like a dance genre. Do you know what I mean? Like, of course it's a dance genre. Like it's rave music. Why?
Massively overlooked, man. It's massive. And one thing that's really important is that over the last 5 years, it's broadened the fan base massively. If you look at the early 2000s, it was just a particular kind of crowd. Now, when you go to like a Grime Originals event, you see everyone from all colors and creed there. I'm thinking, bro, like 10 years ago, that was not a thing. So clearly, it needs to be acknowledged because there are fans out there, and it's increased.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, you just gotta find the fans, and you gotta play to them. Do you know what I mean? Like me, Brazil, out of this world. Like Brazil appreciate us so much.
E ela jurando pra mim que era amor. Eu tenho dinheiro pra curar sua.
Yeah, they love what we're doing. They're they are doing it their way immaculately. Like, and Constantino and the whole Brazil Grime Show crew, they have just clocked exactly what to do, and they're doing
their
it
fan base is mental.
Bro, I had so much fun out there. You've got everybody, anybody watching this, if you can get out there, because they'll help you once you're out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think, Brazil is like it's kind of messed up country, isn't it? Like, the government's kind of messed up. There's not a lot of money out there in Brazil, so like, I don't think anyone's getting flown over anytime soon. But if you put in the effort, you get yourself out there, and they'll look after you, man. They treat you like royalty, and we had a great time, man.
I mean, like I said, from that, it just all stemmed from them recognizing your music while you were over here, and them just tagging you in just bare Portuguese captions, like, they're a fan of your music, to the point where you went out there off your own accord and just shelled it down.
I mean, like, who doesn't want to go to Brazil?
Course.
And then when they hit me up, it's like, this now, innit? Like, what other time am I gonna like have a reason to go?
Exactly.
So I booked my flight. I went during Carnival, and I just had the best 2 weeks ever, man. Love it out there. Can't wait.
Priceless. I can't even imagine what it was like. Just not even just being in Brazil, but Brazilian grime. And one thing that really I appreciate from not just Brazil but everywhere is that I feel that there's so much international support, that they give so much more support than, sometimes here in the UK. And I feel that, and it's amazing to see, because it shows that our sound is reaching the masses, and people like Constantino and all these people across the globe are giving us that energy which we need for grime to thrive, man. But just to end it off there, bro, I just want to say thank you once again for your time. It's greatly appreciated. Like I said, you're my bro, and I'm proud of what you're doing right now. We've had this discussion face to face, but you're on the upward spiral journey to grabbing your win. And I've said it to you as well, man. I just want to see nothing but you winning, bro. So you're doing the right thing, man. So anyway,
and on the flip side, bro, you're mashing hella works, man. You should be proud of yourself, bro. Like everyone in the grime scene right now should be looking at what you're doing.
I appreciate that, man.
Because you're working harder than me right now. Like, you are working so hard. You're on every station. You're on stations that I don't know exist. And you've always got a camera, and you're always filming the sets. It's like you're prepared, like you're actually out here. So
thank you, man.
You too, man.
I appreciate it. Like, we had this discussion as well. You're
a good interview as well. You're a good interview as well.
Thank you, bro. It means a lot, man. For real. I was quite apprehensive at first, but I was thinking, I don't know if he's gonna think it's all right. But I really appreciate it, man. All right, listen, bro. Thank you once again. Big up to yourself, and boy, let's just hope Spurs have an easy season. I'm a fellow Spurs man myself. Yeah, let's not go there, man. Let's not go there. But yeah, big up to yourself, bro. Thank you for your time, man. Bless, man.